Well, out here today on some public land, and I didn't really expect to find anything today because this is a spot I've never been to. This is my first time here. I was just kind of checking it out, maybe to, get back here earlier on next year, maybe February, because this is a pretty big place and it's pretty thick. And I just came across my first one. I was following this deer trail. I got right to this fallen down tree, so I came up on it like this, walked around like this, and then that's when I saw it. Right there at the base of the tree. That's pretty crazy. It's an old one, so that's a good sign that, maybe the people in here are missing a few. I guess you always miss a few, no matter how good of a shed hunter you are. I'm sure this is being walked by people. Yeah, that's pretty old. It's pretty lightweight, like it's all, I don't know, it doesn't have much weight to it. This is off of a pretty nice deer. I mean, probably a 2-year-old, maybe a 3, but yeah, can't complain with that. Break that off. But yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in here today, but maybe now I'll stay a little bit longer. That's pretty cool. Didn't really expect to find much in here, and at least I'm coming out of here with something, This might be the last of the year. Hopefully it's not. I'm gonna try and get out a few more times. I think I'll put this up on the screen. I don't know how many this is. I think I'm in the 40s now, but this is definitely my best year, so. Let's go. I can't believe I'm finding these sheds. I mean, I'm seeing human tracks everywhere in this stuff. I don't know if I'm just getting lucky or if I'm just a better shed hunter. I don't know. I saw this one from like 20 yards away. So you can tell this is some really thick buckthorn. And when buckthorn gets this thick, I mean, it shades out everything. And I've heard that buckthorn actually releases like a toxin or acid or something into the ground, which prevents growth from anything else. So that's why, I mean, in areas like this, it's super easy to shed hunt because, I mean, there's hardly anything other than dead sticks on the ground. And I looked up right there in the middle of the screen. Looks like a fresh one. It better be a fresh one. Oh my God, I think it has a split tine. Yes, it does. It's fresh too. That is what I'm talking about. Are you kidding me? That's a really nice little buck right there. Sweet. Oh, look at that. He's got like a little inside thing starting too on the G3 there. Been sitting for a while because it's April, but yeah, this will be a really interesting little buck if he makes it another 2 years. He's probably a 2-year-old here. If he gets to 4 or 5, he could really be something cool. Got split tine genetics, got inside point starting there. He'll probably add another point out here this year, just a little crab claw at the end. Well, that's awesome. Did not expect to find, I mean, literally probably 15 minutes ago I found the other one. Not too far away really, it's just kind of back that way a little bit. Oh my God, that's pretty cool. Well, just came across this. That's really weird looking. Look at that thing. Looks to be like a 1.5-year-old buck. I don't know. That's really screwed up looking. It's been sitting out here for years. It's hard to tell what this thing even would have looked like before it got chewed up or cut off or I don't know what. Oh, I know what happened to this deer. This deer probably died in velvet. That's why it looks so screwed up. The horns are kind of soft. They're not like super hard like the skull, although it is pretty old. That's cool though. This thing had to have died in velvet. That's my best guess. Looked like it would have been at least a 2 or 3-year-old buck probably. That's the first time I've ever found a skull like that. Must have got hit on the road or something, but I'm way, way away from a road, so I don't know what. Anyways, let's keep on walking. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I don't even know what day it is. It's almost mid-April by now. Me and my dad are out here. This is the first time. We drove like literally an hour and 10 minutes to this spot. It's the first time I've ever been in here. I'm just kind of checking it out, you know. It's a big area. It's probably about 300 to 400 acres of cover. And it's all really wet stuff with like these white cedars, some birch trees, and a lot of silver maple in here. And we were coming here today to, you know, kind of get an idea how good this spot is, and maybe walk it a little bit earlier next year, because I'm sure people have been in here. But this stuff is super hard to shed hunt, and I hardly ever find sheds when I come into areas like this, especially it being about 300 acres of this stuff. I just came across a nice one. Let's go. My dad's like somewhere way over that way, so I'm just gonna record this myself. Basically, when I'm going to these areas, the deer are only bedding at the base of trees because that's the only high ground, like on a cluster of trees like that. But just kind of coming up this way, I got super lucky. You can tell that's right in a deer bed right there. That's like picture perfect. It looks like it's fresh too. And surprisingly, I have not seen, that's actually a year old, I think. I have not seen too many rubs in here. I've only seen like 1 or 2 rubs in the last, well, we've been walking for about a half hour. And I saw some rubs in the fields, in the grassy fields when we came down in here, but since I got in this thick stuff, I've only seen like 2 rubs. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is fresh. Let me get some pictures and I'll pick it up. Alright, so as you can tell, like I was talking about the deer beds, I mean, look at this. This little high clump of ground here, just surrounded by kind of wetter stuff that they wouldn't lay on, you know? So, that's pretty awesome. I bet you this is probably a deer bed, right? Yeah, there's some deer hair right there. Alright, here we go. That's pretty nice. There's not too many fields in this area other than a few grassy fields. So this could have dropped a long time ago. There's no wax ring on there at all, hardly. But it is April, so obviously it probably dropped a while ago. It's got kind of a cool split tine starting there on the G2. Man, that's awesome. Well, hopefully that's not the only one we find in here, but like I said, this is some really hard stuff to find sheds in, especially with it being a sunny day like it is. It's going to make it even harder. But that stuck out like a sore thumb right on top of this little bedding spot here. Are you serious? I just came across another one. This must be a little hot spot right in here. Complete luck once again. It's just sitting right down there in the water. Are you kidding me? Definitely not the other side, which is a good thing. That just means there's another one in here. Man, that's so cool. Look at that, just sitting in the water. You can tell everything's really greening up fast. Wow, that is awesome. I can't believe this. It's awesome. Wax ring is still on there, but that's because it was sitting in water. Young buck, probably a 2-year-old. Really spindly tines. Awesome. This is a hardy more than I thought we would find. I mean, there's definitely got to be a lot of deer in here because this is just such a big area. But yeah, I did not expect to find 2 that fast. Right here in this cedar swamp area right here. Man, this is crazy. Well, let's keep at it. I thought this was a pretty cool deer bed right here. As you can tell, it's completely surrounded by water. There's all these fallen down leaning trees. All the root base is just getting pushed up, and it's still solid enough for stuff to bed on it. Deer hair there. There's just deer hair everywhere through this. I mean, this is just the perfect spot. You can just sit up here and see everything. I mean, this is literally a good 7 to 8 feet higher than the stuff around it. Just look at that. That's so cool. Well, this is pretty crazy. Once again, I'm in some super thick, wet stuff. Got my hip boots on today because this is some pretty wet stuff, and surprisingly, this area is pretty remote and hard to get to. But I've been seeing a lot of human tracks, and there's another guy parked in the parking lot right now. I mean, he could be out here somewhere too because it's Sunday today. So, anyways, I just came across my first one. I was just walking up in this area with like some really good bedding. There was just trails crisscrossing everywhere, and that's where I saw a lot of those tracks. But I kind of circled back around, and now I'm kind of heading back towards that area because that's probably like the primary bedding area, or one of the best bedding areas in here. And on my way back there, on a kind of a side trail that I didn't think would have been walked, I found a shed. So that bedding area is probably like 100 yards that way, kind of beyond that cedar tree. And I'm just walking on this area that I don't think anyone else would have walked because it's just an area without too much deer sign. But a lot of times the bucks take, well, I guess they don't always follow the heavy deer trails. They're gonna walk through, you know, anywhere they can really want to go. And I was coming around like this, and boom, right there is when I first seen it because it was pretty well hidden. Well, I guess this is a really good deer trail right here, but I was coming from that way. But yeah, those boot prints that aren't mine are literally just 20 yards that way, and that's where I just walked through when I headed up towards that bedding area. And then I kind of circled back around like this, and then came right out like this, and boom. That's pretty crazy. Wow, that's an interesting little one. It's all beat up. It's got kind of a big base, but not much of a rack. It's kind of all beat up, probably a 2-year-old, I would say. But yeah, that means there's something pretty big in here. I mean, I've been seeing lots of rubs. There's definitely a lot of deer in here. That's awesome. Wax ring is completely gone. This could have dropped all the way back in February, for all I know, maybe even January, who the heck knows. But all I know is no one found it. But I'm sure the tracks that I've been seeing in here is not the only guy that's been in here. This is some good stuff. I'm sure this has been walked by a few other guys, and a few other sheds have probably been picked up out of here. I mean, there's got to be more sheds out here than just this one. Probably some old stuff too that, I mean, you always miss stuff, so it's just awesome. There we go. I believe that's number 49 on the year. I'm trying to go for 50, so wish me luck. I thought this was pretty cool. You can see on the back here, he's still got some bark on the base of his horn. And where I found it, it was just right next to this tree. I'm sure he tried rubbing this tree, and that's why it was laying like that. So like I said, with the wax ring being gone and there's still being bark on the base here, this thing could have fell in January even. But I do know they rub pretty much all the way up until they lose them, so it could have been February or March as well. But the wax ring being gone like that, that's telling you it's been out here for quite some time.